Hello and welcome to the Sound Lab podcast interviews unedited. On today's show we have interviews from Fun Loving Criminals, Boa, The Sons of Guns and Greywind. We also have Throwback in Time to Download Festival 2019 to chat to Man with a Mission. So without further ado, let's crack on and play you our first interview with Fun Loving Criminals, who have a new album on the way, and this is what they had to say when I had a little chat with them. Fun Loving Criminals, how are you?
Very good, thanks.
Very good, thank you, my friend.
Good, great stuff. We've been playing a new single of yours called Little Bit Further. Why don't one of you tell us a bit about the single?
Go for it, Brian.
All right, it's a disco soul infused summer classic. That's what it said. I think it's been called on. It was called last week on Six Music a stone cold banger. Which we'll take. But yeah, it's just about getting ready to rejoice, have a good time with your friends, kick back over the summer, live for the weekend, and don't let the world and all its mess that it is at the moment kind of consume your life. Just try and have a little bit of fun where you can. That's really what that single's trying to do, for me anyway. I don't know about you, Fast.
Yeah, same. It's a good song, summer jam, and it's the perfect launching track for our new album, so it fit in perfectly for what we're trying to do with it. So
nice. Yeah, and you mentioned it's off your new record, A Matter of Time, coming out 18th of July. What can we expect to hear on the record?
Well, it's August 29th the album comes out. We have it's all good. We have a second single coming out in July, but yeah, we're excited. Frank and I started work on it about a year ago, and it came together rather quickly, which, 4 years ago, we wanted to get new music out for the fans because they've been wanting new music from us. And we were doing EPs at the time. We released 2 EPs, and they were great. We really had a great reception. The fans were happy to see that the FLC sound is still intact and that we're coming to play in a town near them, so it's good. So to put out a full-length album, which we haven't done in 15 years, wasn't too difficult. Obviously, it takes a lot of time, but yeah, we're happy. We're looking forward to it and getting out on the road to play it.
Good. Yeah, absolutely. We'll touch on the touring in a minute, but I like to stick to the album just for now. Where the sound that you made with this record, is it the sound you wanted, or is it kind of just how it turned out in the studio?
No, there was definitely some not added ingredients, but more of an ingredient of bringing the pace up. When me and Fast started going to the drawing board, I suppose the main thing was energy. We're very well known for our super lounge, laid back, cool hip hop vibe, which we love. But on this album, we wanted a little bit more energy, so we wanted a bit more of an influx of rock and roll. A little bit more pace so people can move around a little bit at the shows. And obviously the first single, you hear that, you got that disco 4 on the floor feel. We've got big rock songs on the album. We've got some killer hip hop songs on the album. We're still paying homage to that lounge vibe that we love. But I think the main ingredient for us going into this one was just to have a little bit more energy and a little bit more pace about it, which I think we've definitely accomplished on this record.
Yeah, and I mean, also like Frank's saying, working with our friend Tim Latham, who has mixed and recorded most of the FLC, well, pretty much every FLC record that we've ever done. He brought this like raw energy when he was doing the mix to it, which was something that we were trying to polish the songs a bit too much, and the way he heard it with his, his objective hearing was to kind of keep it raw, which was, what we did on the first album, Confine Yourself, and then we started polishing things up subsequent albums. But I think this one definitely has a rawness to it, which is really cool, whether it's a rock song or a Latin song or a disco song, and I think fans will like that. We thought of this album when we were sequencing it like a vinyl, because there is going to be vinyls coming out. We're big vinyl lovers. And the first side is really quite raw and more electric and rocking. And then the second side, we kind of get more groovy and get more into, the other sides of the FLC formula, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you wrote more than what made it onto this record. What happens to those now? Do you consider them again down the line, or do you think it's a case of binning them off and you'll start again next time round?
I mean, I don't think we ever bin anything off. I mean, I like, and I think Fast likes the way that Prince operated, which he had this vast vault that is, you know, very famous, and they're still pulling out albums and releases from that vault, even though he's passed on. And I think, you know, Fast has got a bunch of hard drives with
Yeah,
views,
there's endless
there's
stuff.
songs, you know, there's books with lyrics on. Yeah, yeah. There's
There's a
books
lot
with lyrics on that
didn't get in stuff.
not
I
used
mean,
on this album.
there's always stuff like sitting on hard drives, like Frank said. And I mean, on this album, there's a bass line that was something Frank and I were whipping up like 15 years ago that just we never made it happen. But it's on the record on a track called Out of Darkness Comes the Light. There's a song called All Across the Lands that musically was written in like 2008. So it just kind of gathered digital dust, and then we polished it up. And, you know, a lot of the skeletons of the FLC songs kind of will sit there, and then once we, you know, say, all right, we're going to put this on the album, or we're going to fully record it, then we can really work on the melodies of songs, the lyrics of the songs. And I mean, you know, there's 3 or 4 that didn't get on the album. 2 I wish did, but it just didn't happen. But you know, you never know. Technically, the way I see it is we've got half the next record ready to go, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Fast, it's the first time you're on lead vocals on a record. How's it? How did it feel for you to be taking the top line for the first time?
Well, you know, I did the lead on the 2 EPs we put out in 2022 and 23, I believe, and it's cool. I mean, it's similar to when the band started. It was like, well, who has the coolest voice? And at the time, it was Huey. And now I think it more made, not saying I have the coolest voice, but I think it made the most sense for the band that I would be the one to take over vocals. You know, Frank and I spoke about getting someone else on guitar and vocals, and you know, that way I can still do the stuff I do. But it just didn't pan out. None of the ideas we came up with sounded legit enough, you know, for the fans to still realize that, you know, FLC was never about one person, and that moving forward we can give the fans what they want, which is new music, and that still remains true to the FLC formula. You know, I was a major part in developing the sound of the band, being that I was the one messing with all the samples back in the day. And I'm not trying to discredit what Huey did, obviously lyrically. You know, a lot of the stories, he wrote the lyrics. You know, I was there for a lot of those stories, but at the same time, you know, where the band is, we've come a long way in 30 years. And, you know, since Frank joined the band, you know, the band is still kicking it. I mean, I kind of consider the Fun Loving Criminals of the past 20 years, you know, being really what the band was meant to be. We started out, we were young, we were naive, we didn't know the industry. And then we kind of honed our craft and brought it to where it is today. And I think the fans love it. And the ones that come to the shows love that they can hear other tracks from our previous albums that we never played live because we don't rehearse that much. But getting Naeem in the band on guitar was a great opportunity for us to spend some time and rehearse and get, you know, some other songs in. So yeah, it's nothing but a good thing, man.
Yeah, good, good. I like to talk about the writing side of things as well. So for you guys, how do the tracks normally start off?
It depends, you know. I'll send Frank some ideas for stuff, especially sample based, you know, tunes. You know, the skeleton I'll send it to Frank, and you know, he'll get busy adding his parts, drums, percussion, you know, melodic lines, you know, sometimes bass lines, sometimes, you know, other guitar lines and stuff. And you know, Frank will write the majority of the lyrics on stuff because he's just been doing it for so long, and he's a great lyricist. He comes up with good ideas. So, and then we get together, and whether it's online, you know, through emailing tracks back and forth, and we kind of mess around, change lyrics around a bit, change music arrangements around a bit, but the formula is still the same as it's been since the 90s. Just don't have any rules, mix any genres we want. If it works for the song, then it works, right? What do you think, Frank?
Yeah, I think that I think the caliber of melody and lyric content on this record is the best that it's been for a long time. But I think that's because we don't shy away from hard work in the studio. We will run with an idea until we've got it to its possible best. We don't just do a take and think that'll do. It's not like that. It's let's refine this down until we're super happy with it. So I think the quality control on this record is way superior than, say, the last record that we put out, original album. So that is a very pleasing for somebody who writes, whether it be fast writing the music or whether it's me putting ideas down. It takes lyric ideas down. It takes a lot of work. So you want it to be, before you release it out to the world, Jim, we need to be happy with it. And to be happy with it, you need to live with it for quite some time and not rush anything. And so that's what we've done with this record. That's why, I mean, I'm super psyched that the new single's going down as well as it is, and fans are loving it, and the reviews of it are great. And radio stations are making it record of the week, whether it's national, regional. I mean, it doesn't really get any better than that, but it's kind of nice because, with me and Fast, we will sit in a record days and days, months and months to get it to where we hope that people are going to accept it. And this is really the first single for a long time where people seem to be jumping on it going, this is really, really good. So it's a really pleasing thing. So, but yeah, as far as how it works, normally music first, lyrics, melody, and then a lot of refining when it comes to top line guitar parts, this and that. But the great thing about Naeem is he knows that the two producers are me and Fast, and he wants to give what he gives. So he comes up with some great stuff, but then he's also, if we say, well, can you bend it this way? Can you do it this way? He's happy to do that as well, because he knows the FLC has a certain sound. And that's another reason why this is just a really pleasing, great body of music. And
Yeah,
I hope you enjoy it when you hear the whole album, Jim. You know what I mean?
I mean, Naeem, he's a very versatile guitarist. So we have a track on the album called "Make It Nice" that's kind of got a Latin vibe to it. And then he just sits right there in the pocket with the Latin guitars on it and stuff. It's great. But then give him a track where we want a riff bass, like heavy rock song, and he kills it as well. So it's important for FLC that the guitar player, can be all across the board with what they know how to play and stuff. And he fills that role perfectly, which is great for us writing and us producing, because it is. You just go in a studio and say, all right, Naeem, play us a Latin melody line. He's like, okay. And he'll come up, and usually within the first couple takes, it's golden, And Frank will send me tracks down to my studio here, and I'll mess around and, try to always stay true to the recording of the song. I mean, if it's like a rhythmic thing, then we can copy and paste. But if there's a part that's live throughout the whole track, we try to let it just, play out, kind of like we did in the early days when we didn't have computers to record on and stuff, Otherwise, everything just sort of sounds the same over and over and over again. So that's important for our sound, I think.
Yeah, I can well imagine. And yeah, absolutely. And once the album comes out at the end of August, you've then got a nice extensive touring run across the UK and Europe. I bet you can't wait to be on the road again.
We love touring.
Yeah. Not looking forward to a lot of the traveling, but always look forward to the shows. But the traveling's a pain in the arse, you know what I mean? But
that's the work. The traveling is the work. The shows
are the
easy part. But it's
yeah,
great.
it should be good.
It's great to have. Sorry, Frank. Go ahead.
Go on, Rick. Go on, bro.
It's great to have 10 new songs that we can pick and choose for the shows. We're not going to be a band that comes out and only plays new material. The fans know they're going to hear the classics. They're going to hear some rarities, which is something the band's never done up until a few years ago. And then, yeah, we can, pepper the set list with some new songs and stuff and switch it up. Some of the songs on the new record will sound great in a big outdoor festival, and some of the songs will sound great in a smaller kind of club venue. So we're very lucky that we have, so many songs to choose from and some of these new ones. So, but touring's great. It's the shows, the travel, getting to shitty hotels and all that and just getting tired. But we've done it so long, Jim, that we know not to book 5-6 shows in a row. We try to get it where the routing isn't so bad, which is easier said than done. But the important thing for us is to be able to get out and play for people, fans of the band who may have seen us in the late 90s, early 2000s when we were playing everywhere. But then the past 15, 20 years, we just weren't going to play in their towns, So that's important to go play for these people because they're the reason we're still here doing it. So it's a good thing.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Fun Loving Criminals, talking about their brand new record, which is out very soon. Indeed. Now, we are all over social media, so come and find us at The Sounder Lab, yes, on all the socials. And you can also check out the website, thesounderlabuk.co.uk. Now, while you go and find us on all of those and give us some follows, we're going to play you our next interview from Boa. They are back with more music, which they released last year, and they are out on tour right now. So, Boa, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good, thanks.
Good. Now, you are now back out on a tour across the UK. How have the shows been so far?
No, tonight is our first one in Manchester.
Are you ready? Are you ready to go?
Yeah, very ready to go. Yeah, it's very exciting. We came back from the southern states of America. Oh God, we came back from the USA, touring around the southern states about 3 weeks ago, and so we've kind of been spinning and then landing here, and we're like, yay! So it's good.
Yeah, I can well imagine. And how's the set list come along? Is it what is on the set list? Is it mostly classic songs? Is it some of the new stuff as well? How have you been able to put the set list together for these shows?
We've got a combination. We've been working on our set list because we've got 3 albums that span over about 1,000 years. And so we were trying to make sure that we've got representatives of each one. But our genre, it mixes quite a lot and the speeds vary and all of that kind of thing. So we've got to kind of really be quite considered when we move things around. And so I think we've got quite a lovely set list this time, and we've got some nice things in store. So yeah, we've reshaped some of the songs as well, and just been quite playful with them.
Yeah, nice. And you've got a couple of weeks on this UK tour. What's your plan after that?
Retire. No, just keep on keeping on. Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, we'll see how we go. We've got some festivals lined up. We're also playing. We're playing Lollapalooza, so we're going back out to the States, and we've announced that we're going to Corona Capital in Mexico. So we'll be there in November, and we're supporting Blady in Brooklyn in October. So we're sort of spanning around, and we're playing Latitude Festival actually in July, which is really exciting because it's a great lineup, and I'm looking forward to seeing lots of the bands there, and just actually getting to go to a festival, in the UK. I love them. So yeah, terrible at camping, but I quite enjoy the music.
Yeah, I've got to that point as well with festivals. I'm not the camping sort anymore.
No, it's strange, isn't it? It's like before that was like so much fun, and then now it's like, oh, I want to see that band and then go home, maybe.
Yeah. It's more work now when I when I go to festivals, so you can't really enjoy it as much.
Oh, well, our mate Tommy Gleason is playing in he's in Feeder, so he was with us on our European tour, so he's going to be there too. So we'll catch up with him, and there's lots of nice things about, I think, touring and stuff, is that you get to see a lot of other musicians and sort of other music and stuff. So it's cool.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And after this interview, we'll be playing a latest single of yours, "Walk with Me." Why don't you tell us a bit about that single?
It was about, like, most of the album is kind of about breakups and breakdowns, but that was more like right at the end. It was one of the very last songs that we wrote, and it was a bit more hopeful, and it was a bit more like around that sort of feeling when you first meet someone or you first connect with somebody, and you kind of either want to take it forward romantically or even just as mates, and you're like, it's just that exciting thing, and it's very gentle, but it's kind of very cool as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. And that is off your latest record, Whiplash, which came out last year. How has it gone down with the fans?
I think the fans really like it. I think they were really surprised that we were going to come up with something. And our record label were really sweet. They said to us, you can either release, a back catalogue after our song Duvet went viral. They were like, you can either release old music or write a new one. And we were like, Lee, I'll let you talk. Sorry, I'm chatting away.
No, no, carry on. Yeah, yeah. No, we just what you carry on, please. I forgot.
Okay. Yeah. So then the record label very sweetly said, "Do you want to write something new?" And we wrote a whole album. So we were really, really chuffed to be able to do that. And I think we've got some really, really good songs on there. So it's quite nice to play them, and play something new is really nice,
Yeah,
because in a way they're so early that we're still reshaping them when we play them live.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was about 15, 20 years you had your hiatus between breaking up in the early 2000s to coming back. What took you so long?
Live.
life. Yeah,
Practical.
yeah. We just went off and done different things. Everyone just life.
Was it always the plan to come back, or is it just because Duvet went viral that you thought, okay, well, we could do it now?
I think this is the practical bit, because I mean, like,
Mm.
it's quite, we put 100% into Boa when we first started it, and we gave it a really good run. We were like together for what, nearly 15 years or something, wasn't it, Lee?
Yeah,
So I think, I joined it when I was just turning 16. I wanted to maybe, do a degree and or do some other things, and I know that the rest of the guys did too, and so we just took that time to do that. And I think it was so impractical. We were all living in different parts of the country, but me and Lionel made it work, didn't we?
yeah. It was strange because, as Jasmine says, impractical. I think it was always in the background that we wanted to work together again, but it was just, when would it happen? How could it possibly happen? And I think that Duvet going viral gave us the impetus, and it gave us the chance to do it. So
Yeah, nice, nice. So is this it now? Are you back together properly going forward and kind of back to how things used to be, or are you just kind of taking it step by step and going from there?
Taking it step by step. We're a lot older now, and we're even more practical. So,
yeah,
and I love music, obviously, and music will never leave us, will it, Lee? But
yeah,
yeah, we just want to deliver really good shows when we can. And so
yeah,
that means kind of making sure that we've got all the gang together, really good musicians and good venues to play and things like that. So, that's what we're focusing on, is the quality.
yeah. Quality over quantity.
That's the way to cover our potential laziness in the future.
Yes,
Yeah.
basically, yeah.
No, but this is like our sixth tour in 10 months. So I think we're giving it a really good blast through.
Yeah,
Traveled to Australia, the States, Europe, UK, doing a
Ireland.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely Ireland. Yeah. So
Yeah. Is there anywhere else you want to get to?
everywhere. Yeah. We'd really like to go to East Asia. Hopefully we can. Um, and we are, I mean, obviously delighted to be going to Mexico and potentially further afield, which will be announced soon. So yeah.
Nice. nice and busy for you. And you're gonna get a chance to get back into the studio and write and record some more stuff at some point.
Maybe.
What you mean after the roller coaster of maybe, yeah. We'll try,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah,
Step by step.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a potential that new music might come at some point. It's not ruled out.
No, not
Never
really.
say
And
never.
also, like that thing of like it took 20 something years for people to recognize Duvet, so we're in it for the long haul. Really. We're playing the long game.
Yeah.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Boa. Now, if you are listening to us on Spotify, then some great news. We also have a fresh playlist bringing you 150 brand new up-and-coming artists that we feel you might just enjoy yourselves. And if you want to check that out, head to our website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk, and click on our fresh playlist poster, or just search for Fresh by The Sound Lab here on Spotify. Now, while you go and give that playlist a save, we're going to play you our next interview from the Sons of Guns. They've got a brand new EP out right now, and we had a little chat with them all about it. So, the Sons of Guns, how are you?
Doing very well, thanks, man. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. So, we've been playing a single of yours called It's Getting Better. Tell us a bit about the single, first of all.
Thanks for playing it. A little bit about the single is that it sounds like it's a really upbeat message, but actually I'm arguing the counter to that throughout the whole song. But many people are saying, oh, it's such a positive thing. I'm actually not saying that at all, but that's between you and me.
I think the way that it does sound like an upbeat song is what's getting it such good traction at the moment, a lot of play, because it sounds like a feel-good hit of the summer, but with some darker, sinister lyrics in disguise.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's coming off your debut EP, which is out this summer. What can we expect to hear on the release?
Well, it came out today, actually.
Perfect.
Yeah,
tell us
Friday
about it.
13th, unlucky for some. It came out today. We were struggling to we've recorded so many songs over the last year or so. We were struggling to put coherent ones together because the style changes so much. So really the choice of them went with what went together best. But underneath it all, the message seems to be the same. It's just hang on a bit. It should get better.
Yeah, absolutely. And the sound that you've made with this EP, was it the sound you wanted, or is it kind of how it turned out in the studio?
Well, for me, it was the sound we wanted, which is usually the way it turns out in the studio, funnily enough. It just kind of comes together that way. There's 5 of us in the band, so once we all get playing, our individual sounds kind of coalesce as one, and that's what becomes the Sons of Guns in the end. Usually starting with one of Dave's demos, we all put our icing on the cake, and whatever comes out at the end is whatever comes out at the end. But our sound can change quite a lot. I mean, this EP that's out currently has been sort of described a lot as sort of folk Americana style, but our style over the things we've recorded has ranged anything from something a little bit more rocky to something a bit more hip hop. These tracks are sort of yet to be out, but it really depends on the direction the song takes as to how it ends up sounding. But usually when we get to the end of it, that's we're happy with that, and that's how it should be. You never know where it's going to go.
Yeah, definitely. And I like to talk about the writing side of things. So for you guys, how do the tracks normally start off?
It's usually myself. If ever I'm at home and I just an idea comes, I never really force it. If I get an idea and something comes, it comes. But it's only recently, since we've been working with the label, that they've been asking for more songs. But they're great. They don't interfere with any of the sound or direction that we want to go. So actually, it's really nice to have a bit of a push.
Yeah, and speaking of the direction you want to go, do you know what direction that is, or is it kind of trying things, seeing where it ends up?
No, for example, like It's Getting Better. That started out as always an acoustic track, but then suddenly I found it going into the sort of glam rock area. So I started listening to a lot of that just to get sonically to do it a little bit more justice, just to have a hint of it underneath. So didn't pre-plan that, just went that way.
Yeah, nice. And when it comes to the lyrics,
more.
yeah, And when it comes to the lyrics as well, how easy do you find it to create the lyrics and combine them with the music that you create as well?
I don't overthink them too much. If I'm writing for other people, I tend to spend more time. But for me, it's whatever sort of comes out, I might tweak a couple of things if it's a bit too cheesy or a bit too obvious. But I know a lot of songwriters spend a lot of time on lyrics. I really don't. Whatever really comes out first is what generally stays.
He's a natural.
No, I've probably put in some more work.
He's lazy.
Yeah, lazy. Yeah.
And I'm sure you've written like a load of music ready and planning for the future. What made you pick these specific ones for this EP?
That's a difficult question, actually. What made us is the answer. But I mean, there were the songs that kind of fitted the best together from what we had. We tried a few. If we've probably got about 30 odd songs recorded, ready to go, and we tried a few different syncs for the 6 tracks that we were going to put on there. And we thought we'd come to an answer, and then we listened to it in the van on the way to a gig one day, and we all just kind of looked at each other like, "That's not it. That's not the EP. We need to switch this track out, put another one in." So it was kind of like a jigsaw puzzle until we found 6 tracks that really sort of worked together as an EP. That's kind of how it came about.
Yeah, fair enough. And you spoke of gigs. People want to see you doing some shows. What's your plan for this year and some shows?
Well, we just did our first headline show. We've always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. We've done a lot of supports. We did our first headline show last week, and that was really cool. It was sold out. And then we're planning on one in London. A few in the UK. And also we've been asked to maybe do a couple of support slots with the Eagles of Death Metal in LA. I will be there in October anyway, so I really hope we can do that because that's really cool.
Yeah. Are you hoping that this year's going to be more headline shows, or do you think it's going to be more supports to get your feet in there, sort of thing?
I'm under no illusion that we got a lot of work to do. We're coming from nothing, so happy to be a bridesmaid or even the bridesmaid's friend. Yeah. But we just like playing.
Mother of the bride. Right?
Mother of the bride. Yeah.
I don't think this year we're going to start jumping into headline slots. We were happy last week to headline our own show in hometown, so it was great. We had a lot of people come that have known us over the years from playing here in Nice. But support slots, festivals, anything like that, we're up for. Can't wait for it all.
Yeah, nice. And as you guys are fairly new to the Sons of Guns, I'd like to find out what got you guys together and what made you write this sort of music as well.
Well, we all met. Scott and I are cousins. He's known me since I was born.
I was only 3.
He was only 7. He was 17. We all moved to Nice individually. There was and is a great live music scene. You can play anywhere and everywhere. So we just wanted to live here to play every day, and we met each other through that scene, and we had a common love of the same sort of style of music as well. We make all kinds of music. All the guys are making their own music as well, but together that sound just sort of came out.
Yeah, fair enough. And I'm sure you've got some aspirations of things you want to achieve as a band. What's one thing that you really want to do?
To be honest, man, I can't speak for you, but to be honest, Jim, I'm happy already. Whatever comes, and I'm enjoying what we're doing.
Well, I'd say we're a bit old school. I think we've got a combined age of about 394. So my ultimate dream would be to get Top of the Pops back on TV and go on Top of the Pops. Failing that, Jules Holland, any of those things. It'd be great to do something like that.
Yeah, we want it, Jules Holland, and to have a physical vinyl.
Oh yeah, that's the dream.
That's all I want.
That's it. We don't want much.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with the Sons of Guns to talk about their brand new EP, which is out now. Now, if you are enjoying today's interviews, then you can find them also on our international radio show in shortened versions, where we get to play you some of their new music from other artists, and a live session too. That's on our international radio show. Link to that on our website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk. Now, while you go and find that, lots for you to find today, then we're going to play you our final new interview, in fact, and it comes from Greywind, who we had a catch-up with at Slam Dunk Festival just a few weeks ago. So, Greywind, How are you?
Thank you for having me.
That pleasure's all mine. You're here at Slam Dunk Festival.
Yeah.
How's your day been so far?
It's been insane. It's like we've been touring the US for the last year, so getting to come back and like play a packed out 10 at Slam Dunk is a dream come true, so it's been amazing.
Yeah, back again tomorrow as well.
I know, it's like Christmas Eve, you mean? I just want to do it again. Like.
Double whammy. And now, once you finish here this weekend, what's the plan next?
To be honest, we have lots of top secret things that we'll be announcing maybe in the next 3 weeks. If my manager hears this, he'll be raging at me, but I want to leak stuff, you mean? So
you can tell me, because I'll try and save the interview till after then. So
when is this coming out?
After whatever's not on the next email coming my way. So
I won't say it full, just in case.
Just say bits. Just
say
around it.
Something people have been waiting for a long time is about to be announced, and we have so much new music coming this year, so it's gonna be good.
Well, you've dropped a new single, Acid Rain.
Yes,
we've been playing that, so tell us a bit about it.
To be honest, that was like one of the last songs we wrote late last year, so we wrote a new bunch of things for something that might be announced very soon. But yeah, so the reaction to that song online has been incredible. It's about like surviving your darkest moments when feeling like everything is falling apart, and in this industry is tough, and we've been through hell and back, and we were told we'd never play this festival, we've told we'd never tour America, and I've done both things in the last year, so we're proof that you can do anything.
Yeah, you can, absolutely. And I believe you're signed to a new label now.
Yes.
How's it going with those guys?
Amazing. We signed to FLG, and it's amazing working with a new label that kind of like, we do what we want to do. I think so many bands, they're like, oh, I want to get signed, and then they control me, or we're very like, we've always had the vision of Grey Wind since day one. We've known what all our future albums are called into the next 20 years. So so it's great to have complete creative control to create the music we want to. So, but yeah, it's been amazing.
I believe there's a misconception around record labels. They think that they're just going to get loads of money and
exactly. There's like, so when you see some bands online, it's like, oh, I need to find my dream label. I need to like literally let them come to you. Like, so yeah, just focus on yourself, and like just you can achieve anything. Yeah.
And they'll come if you write good music.
Exactly.
As examples right here.
I mean,
and I assume there's obviously, you mentioned new music to come. The direction you're going in, is it the direction you wanted to go in, or is it kind of how it's
to be honest, it's always a plan that we've always had we've always had the vision mapped out in our heads. So we always knew our first album, Afterthoughts, was going to be like a Calm to Storm record, and we always knew the follow-up was going to be a way faster paced record. And like, see the reaction to like Acid Rain, and we just released a new song, I Killed All My Friends, in the last 2 weeks, and the reaction online has been absolutely crazy. So, and I'm so excited for what's to come later this year.
Nice. And when it comes to the writing side of things, how do the tracks normally start off?
Usually it's just me crying in my bedroom at 4 a.m. in a voice memo. But yeah, usually I'm just come up with the first draft, bring it to Steph, and then we just bring it to life. You mean, a lot of people, Pro Tools and all that stuff, we don't. We're just singing to our voice memos acoustically, and we know if it sounds like a banger in its roughest form, what it's going to sound like when we get into the studio and do it properly. So yeah, we're very anti-technology of like recording until like the last stage of things. So, but yeah, that's our messed up way of writing bangers. So
tell us how you take it from that acoustic version when you go into the studio. How do you get it from that to the finished article?
To be honest, I don't even know how we fully do it. We have the roughest recordings of acoustic ever, and we bring it to our producer, and we're like, we send like references. We're very inspired by the likes of Blink and MCR, Taking Back Sunday, Thrice. So we just say, make these have Thrice style drums. Make this be like heavy as, I was going to swear, but yeah, I think we do things different to a lot of bands. I see a lot of bands like Pro Tools and GarageBand, all that. We're very like old school, because we like, a lot of bands can get lost in like the tones and stuff before you've even written a great song yet. Yeah. So we very just try and write the greatest songs we possibly can in their rawest form, and we just then bring it to the studio and bring it to life. Yeah.
And obviously working with Steph, not many bands work with family members. But what's it like for you two?
It's amazing. Like, we've always like had the same vision and goal, so it's like, it's so amazing to like playing a packed out stage today, and you see your sister next to you. It's like a really special moment. So yeah, it's great. There's no Oasis moment with us yet. I mean,
not yet.
And
hope you enjoyed the interview there with Grey Wind from Slam Dunk Festival 2025. Yes, and speaking of interviews from festivals, we're now going to throw back in time to 2019 Download Festival, where we had a chat with Man with a Mission. Absolutely loved this chat, and this is what they had to say. So, Man with a Mission. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good, yeah, very well. So you're here at Download Festival.
Uh-huh.
How's your day been so far?
It was amazing. We've already performed in the Allen stage. I believe that's like the biggest tent in this festival, and it was so great. It's been like 4 years since we last played, and we're so excited, so happy to be back here.
Yeah, so I had a chat with you at Reading last year.
Thank you.
What's been going on since then?
I guess we were working on with a new album, and after that, actually, we toured in the UK and Europe a lot, and it was a lot of fun. It was so amazing. Thank you guys who came to our show, and it's been wonderful so far.
Good, excellent. So you are releasing new music. Tell us a little bit about your latest single.
The latest single, it's called "Remember Me." It was like a main theme for a huge like Japanese drama. It's a ballad. Most of our music is like kind of aggressive, kind of rock, but it's a ballad. It's really pop, but at the same time, it's really beautiful and emotional. So I hope you guys like it.
Good, excellent. And being a wolf, what's it like being on a festival with humans, being a wolf yourself?
Well, the thing is, the most beautiful thing is a lot of people, especially artists, want to take pictures with us because we look different with those guys. And like, one time, actually the last time we came to Download, Zach Wild came. And he was like taking pictures with us, and that was amazing.
Good. Is that your favorite part of doing this sort of thing?
I guess so. Doing this sort of thing. That's kind of.
Is it the fan relations then that you do like going and talking to them?
Yes, it's great. I mean, like hanging out with all the heroes that I've been listening to, in these kind of festivals. That's like part of my dream coming true. So I really enjoy coming to festivals and overseas.
Good. And once Download's over and done with, what's the plan for the summer for yourselves?
We're going back to Japan, and there's a lot of summer festivals in Japan as well, you know, like Summer Sonic and Fuji Rock. Luckily, we've got the chance to take part in Summer Sonic, the biggest stage. So I believe a lot of people from overseas come. So if you guys have chances, please come over to Japan to see us.
Good. And when do you think you might be back in the UK doing a little tour?
Actually, we've already done one show in London, but that was not enough. So, I mean, hopefully sooner the better. Yeah.
Good. And is there anywhere that you haven't toured before that you would like to go and tour at some point?
In the UK?
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
Across the world.
Across the world. We've been talking about going for South America a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I believe there's a huge, like a rock fan base over there, and a lot of people listen to rock music, any kind of music, you know. So, and to tell you the truth, it's probably becoming true, you know. We're probably going to make it. So, anybody who's listening to this radio?
Yep.
Anybody who's listening to this radio who lives in South America, yes, we're ready for you guys, so get ready.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Man with a mission from Download Festival 2019. And that's the end of the show for another week, I am afraid. But don't worry, we will be back with a brand new episode. But if you can't wait until then, social media at The Sound Lab, yes, on all the socials. And you can also check out the website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk. And to finish off the show, this week, we will see you next week. So make sure you check us out on all the socials. And we'll see you next week for another episode of Interviews Unedited. Goodbye.